Hey, Franny here. Wanted to talk to you about three great games last Sunday. As a spectator and as an ex-coach, I just loved those games because it was exciting, and they had three teams that were well matched and came down to good coaching for the most part. And you, just as you thought that Kansas City might get its first loss of the year, it was unbelievable. The Broncos played a great game. They contained him. They allowed him not to get out of the pocket as much, and it went down to a last minute field goal that was should have been a sure thing, and they were going to hand the first loss to Kansas City. But I'll tell you what, those offensive linemen just bowled over the defensive linemen like I've never seen before. It was like um just knocking them over like bowling pins and got through there. And there was at least three or four people that blocked a normal field goal that should have given them the game. But Kansas City magically, once again, survives and gets through. And they're just a strong team because they really do care about each other. Here you go, Patrick Mahomes running across the field because he was so excited about them continuing to have their win streak. I think it's 9-0 now. So that was a great game to see. And Patrick Mahomes is one of my favorite players. There's no doubt about it. He just is a guy that will find a way to win no matter what. And Andy Reid is just a phenomenal coach. I can remember in the playoffs, I wanted to run and grab John Harbaugh and say, "Listen, he has knows what your weakness is, and your weakness is that you have a group of guys that want to win so badly that all he had to do was to, get the last shot at your players so that they would react." And we ended up with more penalties that game and we even got a player thrown out, one of our better players, and that was all planned. He knew how Baltimore would react, and we did that and we got put out of the playoffs. I wish I'd have been there, John. I could have told you all about that. Let's go on to the second game. That was a great game, and that was the Lions versus the Texans. Gauf is one of my other favorite quarterbacks. He's done a great job with the Lions, but what I like about Jared Goff is he always has the sense, the athletic ability, and the sense to know that I'm not giving up. No matter what the score is like, I've been a winner in my life, and I'm going to show it in my football. And so they were behind the majority of the game, and they came back to win with a last-minute field goal. And even though Gauf had five interceptions, he threw five interceptions that day. But that's what I mean. He just never gives up, and he knows he has the ability to do it. His team believes in him. Defense certainly helped him out. And then they marched down the field and get a last-minute field goal. They won that one 26-23. But that was exciting. That was another exciting game. And then the third game that was really exciting was the Commanders lost. Washington Commanders lost to Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh has Daniels, and the other player that really frightens me now for the Baltimore Ravens that's in our conference is Russell Wilson. I've always believed in Russell Wilson. I know he didn't have a good time in Denver and stuff like that, but he's dangerous. He's a very capable quarterback, and so he sat the bench for Pittsburgh for quite a while, and they weren't winning at all. And so Mike Tomlin is a smart coach. At times, he finally decided he was going to go with Wilson, which I was upset about because now the Ravens have to worry. So he puts Wilson in, and it comes down to a last-minute touchdown that Wilson throws in overtime, I believe it was. But if it wasn't overtime, it was right at the end of the game. Yeah, I think that's what it was. It was right at the end of the game. It's hard to remember because it was last Sunday. But, boy, if these are an indication of what's going to happen going down the line, we're in for some great football, especially against the well-matched teams. And talk about that, here we have the number one team in the conference, our conference, the AFC North, which is Pittsburgh right now, one game above us, and we're playing against Baltimore. Everybody's got Baltimore favored down here in Vegas, but I'm going to tell you what, the big rivalry between Pittsburgh and the Ravens comes down to number one, coaching, because Tomlin and Harbaugh know each other very well. And it's nice when you play against a coach like that because there aren't a lot of surprises. And then you have Lamar and Wilson, very conquerable quarterbacks. But our biggest weakness is defense, which has always been our strength. And Pittsburgh's always had a very good defense, too. So it's going to be a battle of whether Baltimore's defense can hold Wilson and contain him, as well as creating a fumble or something like that. And they can't give him a lot of time to throw. So most people are picking Pittsburgh. I love my Ravens, but I'm going to tell you what. I'm telling you guys right now, if you don't get together and get your act together on defense, we're not going to make it as far as we need to make it to get into any type of a Super Bowl. Offense is fine right now, and it's also going to be a great game with Henry. He's got to have a game. He's coming off a game where he didn't get a 100-yard gain, so he's got to have a great game. Lamar's got to have a great game, but it's going to come down to defense. If Baltimore cannot stop Pittsburgh defensively, it's going to be all over. So that's Franny's predictions. Sure enjoyed a couple of your comments this week. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and listen, create a great day for yourselves. Okay, take care.